Hello, dear students of secondary stage. Here are some topics of grammar lessons that are going to help you for the coming year, inshallah. In our first session, we are dealing with the passive voice. Okay? Of course, you have dealt with this lesson before in the previous years, so we are going to go through it very quickly. First of all, as for the usage of the passive voice, when do we use it? Number one, when the person who carries out the action is unknown. We don't know him. For example, my car was stolen. Okay? It means that someone stole my car and we do not know who is that person. Number two, when the action itself is more important than the person who carries out the action. For example, if you want to focus on the action itself, regardless whoever does this action, we use the passive voice. For example, a new hospital will be built. It means that they will build a new hospital, but we are focusing on the action itself. Okay, before going further within this transformation from an active sentence into a passive one, let's analyze the sentence. Look at the original sentence. Someone stole my car. This is what we call an active one. How do we know that this is an active one? Because the doer of the action is mentioned at the beginning as the subject, okay? And then the verb, stole, and then the object, my car. In order to focus on the object or to forget about the doer of the action, we focused on the object through starting with it. So step number one into changing from an active voice into the passive one is to start with the object, my car. Then, step number two. Look here at the verb, was stolen. It's divided into two parts. Number one, we have verb to be, which is was. So, how can I choose verb to be? It's according to the tense of the sentence. Someone stole my car. This is past simple. So, we need verb to be in the past, which is was or were. What about my car? Okay, it's was. So my car was. Then, step number three. We bring the past participle of the main verb, which is steal. Here is a stole, and the PP, stolen. Very good. So my car was stolen. And this is the form of the passive voice. Okay? Of course, we are not going to say by someone because we are not actually aware of the doer of the action. Okay. Have a look at the second sentence to check the steps that we have applied in the previous one. They will build a new hospital. Where is the object here? It's a new hospital. So we started with it in order to focus on the action itself, as we said. Then, what tense is it? It's will build. What tense? Very good. It's future. So we are going to use verb to be, which is step number two, into the future form. And bear in mind that if the future form is with will, use will. If it's with going to, still use going to, the same structure. So will be, this is verb to be in the future form. And then step number three is to get the PP of the main verb, which is build, so it will be built. So the new sentence in the passive voice is a new hospital will be built. Of course, you can mention by them, but here we are focusing on the action itself. Here is a table for you, okay, which shows you how to use verb to be in each tense, okay, and then the past participle in order to form the verb of the passive voice. For example, if we have the verb or the tense as present simple, how can we use verb to be with it? It's either am or is or are. And then, don't forget the past participle of the main verb. Like, for example, the reports are written every day. So are, this is verb to be in the present, and then the past participle of write, written. Then, if the tense is present continuous, how can we form a verb to be in the present continuous? Am, is, are, plus being. This is verb to be in the present continuous. And then the past participle of the main verb. So, the reports are being written now. If the sentence is in the past simple, so verb to be in the past is was or were, and then the past participle again. The reports were written yesterday. Then, if it's past continuous, the same idea. Was or were, being plus the past participle. For example, the reports were being written, etc. for the coming tenses. Okay? Now, let's have some practice. Okay? Here you have some sentences that we are going to change them from an active voice into the passive one. Sentence number 1. People watch football all over the world. Remember always the 3 steps of changing from an active sentence into the passive one. Step number 1, begin with the object. People watch what? Football. Okay, so football is the object. Start with it. Then, step number 2, verb to be in the tense. What tense is this sentence? Watch. It's present simple. So what is verb to be in the present simple? Am, is, are. What about football? Yes, is, not are, not am, of course. So football is, and then step number 3, the past participle of the main verb, which is watch. So football is watched all over the world. And of course, there is no need to say by people because it's already understood. The second example. He is looking at the picture. Okay, what is the object of this sentence in order to start the first step? He is looking at the picture. So this is the object, okay? The picture, then step number 2, verb to be in the tense. Here is looking, this is present continuous. So we need verb to be in the present continuous form, which is being. Then, step number 3, the past participle, which is of the verb look. It's looked. Okay, so the sentence in the passive voice, the picture is being looked at by him. And we put it between brackets because it's optional. Actually, when you have the doer of the action as someone, a proper noun or someone that is known, you have to mention him. Or you have to mention the doer of the action. For example, by Mustafa, by Jack, whatever. But as for the pronouns, it's optional for you. But never ever mention them if it's someone that is unknown, like someone, somebody, people, because it's already not specified. Then, example 3. He gave his book to me. If you look carefully at this sentence, you will figure out that it contains 2 objects, not only one. He gave what? His book. So this is object number 1. Who did he give the book to? He gave the book to me. So this sentence contains 2 verbs. Okay, so sorry, 2 objects. So now let's try to change it into the passive voice with the 2 objects. Okay, object number 1, his book. Okay, then step number 2, verb to be, yes, in the tense. So his book was, because the verb gave is in the past. Then the past participle of give, gave, given. Very good. So his book was given to me. Okay, what about the second object, which is me? Me here is an object pronoun. When I start with it at the beginning of the sentence, it becomes a subject pronoun. So I will start not saying me, I will start saying I. So I, and then the same steps, verb to be in the past, was, and then the past participle given, his book. I was given his book. Another example with different tense in order to practice more. Nobody has broken the bottles. Okay, where is the object here? It's the bottles. Okay, what tense is it? Has broken. It's present perfect. Very good. So, what is the form of verb to be in the present perfect? It's have or has plus been. Okay, so the bottles have been broken. You already have the past participle because it's present perfect. But bear in mind that nobody gives you negative meaning. So you have to insert the negative form. So the bottles haven't been broken. Another example. I must do the washing up now. Here, what tense is this sentence? Actually, here we have something that's called a modal verb. What are modal verbs? They are the verbs like can, could, shall, should, may, might, will, would, ought to, etc. So, these verbs are always followed by infinitive, bare infinitive. And that's why it's very easy to change into the passive here, because we simply put the infinitive form of verb to be. So, where is the object here? I must do what? The washing up. So, the washing up must be done. This is the past participle of verb do. Must be done now. Okay. Another example, which is people think that money brings happiness. Actually, this kind of sentence is called reporting passive. What does it mean by reporting passive? It means that people here give their opinion about something else, about a person or about a certain thing that is taking place. So, we wanted to change this active sentence into the passive. Here we have two ways in order to change from the active to the passive. The first way is to consider what the people are thinking about, okay, as a whole, as an object, and refer to this object with the word or the pronoun it, okay? So, as if what the people are thinking about is our object, and we refer to it using it. Then, step number 2, verb to be. Think here is a present simple tense. So we need verb to be in the present. So it is. Then the past participle of the main verb, which is think. So it is thought, and then complete the rest of the sentence as it is. It is thought that money brings happiness. Okay, what if we wanted to start with the other noun, okay, or the subject of the second part of the sentence that people think of, which is here money. So, if I started with money, let's follow the same steps. So, money is, because think is present simple, money is thought. Then, you need to move to the other verb, which is brings. Okay, how can I link the two verbs, thought and brings? You are going to use the linker to, okay? And to, of course, is followed by the infinitive. So, to bring happiness. So, the reporting passive in the other way, money is thought to bring happiness. Now, guys, after we have finished the steps of changing from an active sentence into the passive, we are going to deal with another form of passive, which is passive causative. What is the meaning of the word causative? It means that you are causing someone else to do something for you. So you are not the doer of the action. Okay? So we use this form mainly to say that we have arranged for someone else to do something for you. Okay? As we discussed in the previous part, or the previous form, that we depend mainly on verb to be, according to the tense, to change it from an active form into the passive form. Here, we are going to depend mainly on other verbs. Verb have or get. Okay? In the previous form, we started with the object in order to focus on the object or the action itself. But here, the object is going to separate verb have or get and the past participle. To make it more clear for you, look at the following examples. I don't cut my hair. Of course, you don't cut yourself your hair. You go to a hairdresser or maybe the barber to do that. So you ask someone else to do that for you. How can I express this? I have my hair cut. So as you see here, we started with the person that gets the serves, I, and then we put have in the regular tense or in the required tense, and then the object, which is cut. What is cut? It's my hair. And then the past participle. Okay, look at the second example. Do you usually get your room cleaned? If I want to ask you, that, do you depend on someone else that you bring to clean the room for you? I can simply say, do you get your room clean? So you tell me, no, I clean it myself. So the previous question, it means that you do not do your room or you do not tidy your room yourself. Okay, another example. Usama had a house built. It means that Usama didn't build the house. Okay, he didn't do it himself. Maybe the builder did it for him. Okay, so we started with Usama, who got the serves, and then we put have in the correct tense, and then the object, which is the house, and then the past participle. Okay, now we have some sentences that will make the form more easier, and you are going to get more familiar with it. Sentence number 1. The mechanic checks my car every month. Here, it means that you ask the mechanic regularly, every month, to do something for you, which is to check your car. So you are not the doer of the action. Okay, here are some more sentences in order to make the form familiar to you. Okay, the first sentence. The mechanic checks my car every month. It means that you get the mechanic or you ask the mechanic to do something for you regularly, okay, which is checking your cars. So you are not the doer of this action. Let's change from this active form into the causative form, okay? So step number 1, who is the person that will get a service? It's I, because it's my car, okay? So I, and then step number 2. If you remember, in the regular passive form, we get verb to be, but here we get verb have or get. Fine? So, I have, and then, what do you have? The object, my car, then the past participle of the main verb, which is check, it will be checked. So, the whole sentence will be, I have my car checked every month. Then, another example. A maid is going to clean the house for us. Okay, so we get a maid in order to do something for us. We are not the ones that will do this. So who is the person that will get the serves? Us. Okay, and us here is an object pronoun. So when we start with it at the beginning of the sentence, it will be a subject. So it will be changed into we. Okay, what tense is it here? It's future form. But bear in mind, as we said in the previous form of the passive, you use future according to the structure that is already there in the sentence. So if he is giving you will, you must use will. If it's going to, you must keep the same structure, okay? So we are going to have. This is verb have in the future form using going to. Okay, we are going to have what? What is the object? It's the house. So we are going to have the house cleaned. This is the past participle of the main verb. Okay? Another example. The dentist has checked Nada's teeth recently. Okay. Who is the person that will get a service here? It's Nada. Okay, so we start with Nada. And then step number 2, verb have or get in the tense of the sentence. What tense is it here? It's present perfect. Good. So, Nada has had. So, this has had is verb have in the present perfect form. Okay? Of course, you can replace in these sentences verb get instead of have. Okay? So, you can say here, I get my car checked. Or, we are going to get the house cleaned. Or, Nada has got her teeth, because this is the object, checked recently. Fine? Another example, we should get a carpenter to fix the broken chairs. So here we are not going to fix the chairs ourselves. We will bring someone else to do this. So, as you see here, if I'm asking you about the tense, here you have modal verb, which is should. As we mentioned before, while dealing with the passive, the regular passive form, we said that modal verbs like can, could, shall, should, may, might, etc., they are followed usually by their infinitive. So, we should have or we should get what? The object? The broken chairs. and then the PP, fixed. So the whole sentence in the causative form, we should have the broken chairs fixed. I hope now that it's very clear the difference between the causative passive or the passive causative and the regular passive form. Thank you, my dears.